Well, let's bring on Jeff Legwold right now. Jeff, it's great to see you. Why don't you give us some insights into the RJ Harvey thing? What went into getting him signed and how it got done today? And what's unique about this compared to most second rounders, Jeff?
Well, not most second rounders anymore. I mean, this is what's unique is the trend this year for Harvey and others. What Tyler is saying is the unique part for second rounders. The first rounders have largely lived in this world the past few years where most or all of a first rounder contract has been guaranteed. This has now moved into the second round. Working together, collusion, collective thinking, however you want to call it, it worked this year. After the first two guys in the second round got guaranteed money all the way through their contracts, the rest of the round did better. And like Tyler was saying, that the third year.
Jeffy froze on
us. That was pretty insightful.
That was good. We're left in
that third year is just like it's just a magical year.
Jeff, you can probably still hear us, but you're frozen.
You never know what's going to happen in that third year.
Jeff is back.
Say the third year.
I'm back.
Sorry about that, Jeff.
No, but it's the guaranteed money in salary in the third year that's unique now. But it's going to happen more and more moving forward, and probably 5 years from now we'll be having this discussion about the third round. So I mean, this is the evolution of a salary cap that's grown far more than people expected 10 years ago, and frankly, if you're picked in day one or day two, you're probably going to reap the benefits.
Jeff, who do you think we will hear news on first of the guys that want a new contract? Courtland Sutton, Zach Allen, Nick Benito, Jonathan Franklin Myers. And I guess when do you think we'll hear something on those guys?
Yeah, I continue to think Sutton is the one everyone would like to get done first. And that could be the training camp, preseason, pretty soon contract if everyone continues the momentum they've shown at times. But, I think that's the one the team knows if they don't do it, they're going to have some explaining to do in the locker room, because they have given every indication if Courtland did what they wanted, they would do what he wanted. And he did everything they've wanted. He did mini camp a year ago when they asked him to. He came. They didn't give him any new money last year, and he still had one of his better seasons. He's Bo Nix's favorite receiver. He's good in the locker room. I don't know what they could be fighting now at this point other than he's 30. But you told this guy an important part of your team that he's an important part of your team. And I think that's the one that needs to get done first and probably will. Benito, I think that's all going to come down to, are they going to do like they did with Surtain? Are you going to put him at the top of the market? How comfortable are you doing that right now before he plays anymore? And that's why I think they'll wait. Both sides when I last spoke to people seem inclined to kind of wait and see a little bit on that. And I think Zach Allen, that's one of those they could do during the season for cap reasons. And I would think that's the one that has the profile for during the season.
We just talked about Harvey getting signed and everything. They got Dobbins. What do you think the running game will look like this year?
I don't think they know yet, Scotty. I mean, I have always professed to saying I hear Sean Payton talk about the run game a lot, and then on game day, I don't see that same commitment. So I am intrigued to see how they're splitting carries. The Broncos don't have an old school position battle we're all going to watch during camp, but I do think carries and reps and what downs, what guys are playing will bear watching early on in camp, because I think they're going to try and make decisions, and I think they're going to use practice performance to make a lot of those decisions.
What competitions are there Camp this
I
year,
think,
Jeff.
that they lead the league in retention.
I
No
know,
team in the league
right?
brought more guys back than they did. So, we don't have the old track the snaps
Right.
competition going on anyway. I want to see where they're fitting Jahdae Barron in and
Mhm.
how.
Mm-hmm.
How do the running backs look? After the receiver. I want to see where the receivers are rotating in and out. Those are the battles they have. It's not necessarily who's starting the game, but how it all looks on third down, third and long. What's
Yeah.
it look like? Who's he comfortable with in 2-minute situations? At the half, at the end of games. Those are the battles we're looking at. Not so much is player A or player B going to be a starter. It's who's playing on the most important downs and why.
I don't know if there's been another player since Jerry Jeudy that had more workout videos put out in an off season. I know that was COVID year, but Dre Greenlaw, I watched something on him the other day. First of all, this guy's a freaking monster. I don't think he participated in OTAs in any.
Are you watching the Action Hall ones? Are you following for those?
I guess I might have been, but I've seen one where he was working out. But what's the expectations on him and his health?
They've had no concerns. At least they've expressed no concerns. And I don't think they really have any. The initial reports from a couple folks were that it could impact some of the regular season, that the Broncos have swatted that back pretty hard right away, even privately when I've asked people. And at his best, he's one of the best off-ball linebackers in the league. And I think they win the Super Bowl. The Niners win that Super Bowl if he doesn't get hurt. So he will have an enormous. If those two guys are healthy, the two guys they signed from the Niners are healthy. One of the league's best defenses is in an elite category if everybody's healthy and finishes the year.
Who's his running buddy?
That's I want to see. Singleton has said he's ready, and to me, that's a good pairing on early downs, but they're very intent on finding snaps for Drew Sanders. So that's, and those can come in a variety of ways in the nickel and dime and those things. But I think it will be a mix and match next to him, frankly. And maybe that impacts what the 53 looks like, the first week of September. But I do think they see him as sort of an every down player because of his coverage skills, and then a little mix and match around him.
Hey, go back to Courtland Sutton for a second. Where would you put him in the top wide receivers in the NFL? And I guess where I'm going with that is how much money are we talking about?
Yeah, Tyler, if I'm Sutton or his agent, I say, rank me wherever you want. Guess what?
I'm your number one.
I'm the best receiver you have.
Yeah.
I'm the best receiver Bo Nix has. I'm Bo Nix's favorite receiver.
It's a pretty legitimate argument.
Yeah, no, I think it's the argument. And I think, when we wrestle with, is it 25, is it 30 million a year? Look, the cap is so far out there right now. We gotta just wrap our heads around with, if you're the best at what you do or among the best on your team, you're going to get paid like it. So I am just of the opinion, whatever the dollar figure is, if you don't do it, you're going to have an awful lot of explaining to do in your locker room, privately, if you're Sean Payton, because he did everything you asked him to do, and you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. That's going to be what a lot of his teammates think when they look at it, if they don't do something.
Camp does start next week, Jeff. There's it's a unique year. We'll never have a year like this because of the construction going on over there. So what accommodations or lack of accommodations are there going to be? What changes, I guess, based on just this massive construction project that's going on at the same time as camp?
Well, a lot fewer people are going to be able to go, D-Mac.
Sure.
I've seen the big bleachers they've got set up. It's likely going to be an end zone view for folks if they keep the fields pointed the same direction they have in the past. Mm-hmm. So, but it won't be as up close and personal as people are used to, or who, the camp regulars who go out there. But I think, they'll have room for a few hundred. Those tickets were gone pretty fast. My neighbors have told me. So it will be different. It won't quite be the COVID year when nobody was out there with us. And it's a little more stringent than when they built the field house. And that sort of impacted how practice looks. But won't be as many folks, but they do have a large sets of bleachers I've seen, already up and ready for the people who can get in will at least be able to see some of practice.
And that's on the other side of the fence where the coach's parking lot was, right?
No, well, the bleachers I saw were right where on the side of the field by the public parking lot where you would have walked into the lobby of the old building in the old days.
Well, I'm curious if they're going to have construction happening during the practice.
No, they're on a schedule. They're on a tight schedule to get it done by May. So it would shock me that if they'd shut it down. I mean, they did not shut it down during OTAs or mini camp. So there were plenty of days when the welding sparks were going while they were running third down.
So do you park your car where you're used to being at over at the jailhouse, and then just take your electric scooter over there to the field?
My little scooter. Now, I may just get Ubered right to the gate. Maybe that'll be how I handled it.
That's how.
A P card back to ESPN.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Next week, training camp. Here we go. There you go. So looking forward to it.
I'm ready to roll.
All right, let's go. Thanks, Jeff. Talk to you later.
Number 40 for me. Training camp.
Oh my
40.
God. Are you serious? Wow.
The early ones I didn't do every day, but I still count them because I was going to practice sometimes. So
wow,
anyway.
40 years of covering training camp. What's the most significant difference in 40 years?
Practice is a lot shorter now. Tyler will tell you that, but practice. I'm old enough to have covered a 3 a day. Let's just put it that way.
I think my first was 94 in Greeley.
Well, that's when Tyler ripped Elvis Dumerville's shoulder off.
94.
A padded 2 a day.
Yep.
Yeah, just
fully padded his second day.
Took care of Elvis.
That was right. When I covered the Steelers, Chuck Noll would do the Oklahoma drill on the first day of training camp. He would never get away with that anymore.
Does anybody do the Oklahoma drill?
No, it's banned. It's outlawed.
It doesn't make any sense to do the Oklahoma drill.
It's banned.
It really
it's
doesn't
banned.
make sense. Yeah, on the first day of training camp.
All right, how about this? 40 years. What's the dumbest thing you've ever seen at training camp in 40 years?
Well, he's in the Hall of Fame, so I'm crushed to say it, but probably the Oklahoma drill on the first day of training camp.
Okay.
No, I once saw a player leave training camp because he wouldn't let the other players cut his hair. That's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, probably.
That was in Denver, though, wasn't it? That was here.
No, it was in. I was covering the Titans. I can't remember his name, but it was a tackle from Arizona, and he had the long mane, and he didn't want it cut, so he left camp.
Well, wasn't there an issue with one of the guys in Denver, though, that had long hair coming in there the last few years?
Yeah. Well, they don't do it anymore.
Yeah, they don't do it
anymore.
No
more hazing.
No
more hazing.
Hazing doesn't exist.
We had a dude disappear from training camp in Seattle one year, and he just left a note in his hotel room, and he said, "I went to Africa.
Okay,
I'm just gone.
Well,
I'm out."
Jarvis Moss just took off in training camp. Just was like,
well, they had
peace out.
They had a Nebraska lineman here, a draft pick that went and said, "I'm going to go to dental school. I'm out."
Well, at least he was doing something to upgrade his life.
And guess what? He still got a job, and he remembers his kids' names.
Yeah,
exactly.
There you go.
And a lot of, I probably should have gone to dental school too, but that didn't work out. So
you'd have been a foreman on a train.
We've had some fun ones, man. We've had Matt Prater and his adventures with the IKEA stuff. We had
IKEA.
Well,
what happened with IKEA?
Well, it's a whole long story with Matt Prater. He got spotted by the IKEA security guards backing into a car at a hotel with a stripper from Shotgun Willie's. Went to another hotel. Blah, 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 blah.
IKEA?
Yeah, they were.
What did IKEA have to do with that?
They were building IKEA. And it was like 2:00 in the morning, and like some guys, some security guards or whatever, were at the hotel, and they saw him back into a car.
Wow.
You don't know
Oh,
that
I
whole
remember
story?
that.
No,
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember
No,
the
they-
shotgun Willies. I just don't remember the IKEA part.
The cops go into the hotel and they ask the stripper who was driving the car, and she goes, Matty P or whatever. And they identified him because he ran away from the hotel and he left his ID badge from the, right?
Yeah.
His parking pass.
His parking
He left
pass.
his parking pass.
And he didn't go home or somewhere else. He just went to a hotel next door, and they found him and knocked on the door, and he begged for, it was a whole thing. Matt turned his life around, and it was great.
I was going to say, then he went to rehab.
Matt is
Yes.
still played in the NFL, by the
Yes,
way.
Matt's doing great. But there was the other guy, John from Napa. What's his face? He punched a guy and then hid in the bushes there at Shane Company.
Yeah.
What's his face? What was his name, Jeff? John something or other. Gosh.
Bannon.
You're going down in the training camp mayhem path.
Yeah, I mean, it was there's been some incredible. Oh, gosh darn it, what was his last name? He went to Oregon, straight out of Napa. John something or other. He was causing havoc all over the place. So there was that bar there. He smacked a guy. He ran and got found by the cops at the Shane Company and the wood chips.
It was JD's bait shop.
Was it JD's?
Yeah,
I thought it
I
was
think so.
I thought it was the bar on the other side though, near Shane Company on Arapahoe.
Oh, I don't know.
And Jarvis Moss left.
Whatever.
There's all sorts of quirky things. Elvis Dumerville, was, talking about guns and stuff. Remember that, Jeff, when he had to come back? Guys got in trouble. Vaughn with all of his issues. We've had a lot of drama right off the bat.
we had the one linebacker that was pilfering billfolds in the locker room. Remember that? And they went and played. Actually, got cut here and played for Green Bay.
Who are you talking about there?
I'll look it up.
Okay. These are just some of the fun stories, Jeff.
Yeah.
There's been plenty.
There's been plenty.
Then there's
You're
a
right.
night of about the 8-car caravan leaving Old Chicago in Greeley with a police escort about midnight, and no one should have been driving. And the lead car almost ran into the back end of the police car that was escorting them. I was number 7.
John Boyette. John Boyette was his name. Do you miss the Greeley days at all, Jeff?
They had just moved to the facility when I got here, but
Is that right?
I covered away camps for Steelers, Bills, and Oilers. So I have done these 7 weeks on the road.
Yeah, I did a couple of camps up there at Greeley. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was like 99, 2000, whatever. It was kind of cool. It was fun. It was really relaxed, It was.
Back then.
You could eat
You
with the
spent the night.
players.
You could eat in the
Nobody
cafeteria.
cared. It was to talk about different, Jeff. Can you imagine back up at Greeley? First of all, you could walk between the fields wherever you wanted, whatever you wanted to do. And at lunch, everybody just ate together. Seriously.
Yeah.
Lunchtime. All the media was just eating with the players. Just right there in the cafeteria at Greeley.
When I covered the Steelers, we stayed in the same dorms as the players.
Nice.
You moved into the doors with the players?
Yeah.
I stayed in the dorm.
with the
I
players.
don't remember if
That
any
is
players was in
fantastic.
our dorm, but we had a media dorm. So we'd spend the night there.
For Greeley?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to do that. I had to go up and back.
Well,
I'd
I'd always spend the night at least once or twice during the camp.
Is that right?
Well, the first year we did it in '94, Reeves was still here, and they were padded practice, long ass practices twice a day, and I didn't want to drive, an hour and a half to
No.
get up there. So
Scott's big ass on a dorm bed. That's got to be a sight.
it was hilarious.
It's gonna be something.
Wait till you see the shower.
All right, Jeff. Happy 40. Congratulations, and we'll talk to you next week out of camp. Thanks, Jeff.
See you, folks.